Logan's point of view. I smirked at Sabretooth when I thought about the parting gifts that James Gray gave us. First he gave my wife Silverfox true immortality, and he also made so every time Victor killed me and Silverfox we get stronger, and he gave us Jason Stryker, and he even gave me and my wife immunity to Jason Stryker's powers, and he also gave Victor's new wife Lady Deathstrike immunity to Jason Stryker's powers. Yes, he also gave Lady Deathstrike the same abilities as me and my wife. And then Victor walked in the den and he asked me what the fuck is going on here, and I said, oh hey Victor, have something to eat and drink. And then Victor said, Logan, what the hell happened? And then I said, well, you have been asleep, big brother. And then Victor said, Logan, you tried to kill me. And then I said, Victor, that was years ago. And then Victor asked me, what the fuck is this? What's going on here? And then Jason Stryker walked in the room and he said, hello Victor, please sit down. And then Victor did everything he said without question, and then Victor sat down and he asked me, Logan, what the fuck is this, and who the fuck are you, little dipshit? And then Jason Stryker said, silence, watch your language, young man. And then Victor stuck up his middle finger, and then Jason Stryker said, break your finger. And then Sabretooth started to try and scream, but his screaming was muffled. And then I said, meet Jason Stryker, another mutant, and he's William Stryker's son, and he has very unique psychic abilities, and he can make anyone do whatever he wants, and he also has the powers to create illusions when he looks at you and uses his powers, except James Gray made his ability much more powerful. Now he doesn't have to blink and he deactivate his powers using voice commands, and the kid gave us all a special type of immortality, and I think you're going to like it really soon. That's if you can get away from Jason Stryker here, and I know that's never going to happen. And then Jason Stryker said, speak. And then Sabretooth shouted, you fucking little shit, I swear I'm going to kill you really soon. Fuck you. And then I said, now Victor, you be a good boy and we'll set you free. And then Victor said, fuck you little shit, I'm going to fucking eviscerate you, and I'm going to tear you both apart and eat your liver and spleens. And then I laughed in his face really loud, and so did my wife Silverfox, and I said, you've already done that many times, Victor. You're an idiot, Victor. And then Victor turned full Sabretooth, and then Lady Deathstrike stepped in the room, and then Victor smirked and he said, kill them honey please. And then Lady Deathstrike said, Victor, I've done this many times and it's not going to work, my love. And Victor was literally placed in a house full of innocent people he could not kill, and for someone like him that's a special kind of hell. And then Lady Deathstrike helped Victor Creed kill us all, only for us all to instantly regenerate. And then Victor said, oh god no, I think I'm in hell, Victor said. And then me and Silverfox along with Jason Stryker, we all came back to life and we all laughed at him. And then Victor said, fuck you all. And then Victor ran away like a maniac laughing, and then I put on a serious face and I realized I can't let Victor escape. Luckily for me, Victor and Lady Deathstrike killed us all so many times it made me a lot stronger, and it enhanced all my animal-like abilities, even my speed, and it made my strength far greater than the Hulk and then some. So as my brother frantically ran away like a maniac talking to himself and laughing, and Victor shouted and said, I'm finally going to escape and get the fuck out of here. And then I ran at super speed in front of Victor, and I smirked as Victor looked shocked and surprised and then terrified when I popped my claws, and then I jammed my claws in his forehead and I moved so fast he couldn't see anything. And then I said, oh Victor, you still haven't figured it out yet. You're in a no-win situation, soldier, and so is your wife, but at least she doesn't get trapped in a dream world sometimes. You on the other hand are a different story, you never learn. Now let's get you back to the house, little brother. And then eventually Victor Creed finally went completely insane, thinking he was in hell when in reality he's still alive on Earth and truly immortal. He just can't kill his family. And then finally one day it happened, we broke him and he started doing whatever we asked him to do. And then Victor asked me, can me and my wife please leave now? And then I said, maybe soon, just wait a little while longer. And then Victor snarled and that large vein appeared on his forehead again, and then he calmed down and took a deep breath and he sighed in relief, and then he went back to his room and had sex with his wife. And then Sabretooth said, I'm sorry honey for all the trouble I've caused lately, I just get so fucking angry sometimes and I want to fucking kill someone and strangle the fucking life out of someone.